Brendon, mate, thanks for jumping on, buddy. It's good to obviously catch up and chat through your experience and your progress within the program because I know it's been a huge, hectic year for you personally with a new baby, of course, and then other businesses and things that you're doing, as well as your main e-commerce business, which is, a lot to handle and coordinate. But the fact that you have progressed and upskilled and obviously been able to still engage within the community. Came to our mastermind obviously a few months ago, which was amazing. Is everything to progressing this side of the business, the online side especially. So, I mean, we can jump into the weeds in a bit of a minute, but I'd love to just kind of get a little intro to you and what your business does, and yeah, we can jump into it after that.
Yeah, cool. So obviously, I've got an online business doing motorcycle deep cycle batteries here in New Zealand. Sort of specialize in that. I do deal with other things in another business, like you said, but I just wanted somewhere where we can supply to those that need them then and there, and we can get them shipped out. So we only started the website in 2023 in November, and then I joined Ecom in May this year,
Mm.
and it's just grown ever since. So plenty to learn and plenty that I could take into control myself. That was good.
Amazing, man. And so where were things before you jumped in? So yeah, that's not a long period of time. Obviously, from late 2023 to sort of May, maybe that, 6, 8, 9, 12 months. But like what was happening at that time before jumping into Ecom Blueprint? Like where were things at with the business and what were you handling? You mentioned you had agencies. Where were things at around that time and how come you're looking for the solutions, I suppose?
So the website launched. The moment the website launched, we had an agency come in, sold us the dream. This is what you need to do. This is how much money you need to spend. This is what we'll target. And so I said, "Yep, okay, let's do it." I didn't really know what I was doing at all. Like I've seen Google Ads before, never really looked at it, never really understood it. So I said, "Yep, put an agency on it. I've got other things I need to focus on." It started off all right. Um, Within the first couple of months, we noticed the ad spend started creeping up slowly. Even though we'd set a budget, they didn't actually lock it to it, so it would go over the budget, whatever. So then I started looking for answers and started looking at different YouTube videos and Instagram reels, and then your Instagram reel popped up, and it caught my eye, so I watched it, and then I think I filled in a form, and you reached out, and
Mm.
it just what you said really, came to me about how take it into your own control and learn what you're actually doing and know where your money's going to make the money come back. So I kept the agency on even when I started the blueprint.
Hmm.
But then obviously within the last sort of 4 months, I've flicked them on, told them to leave and run it myself. I now spend a quarter of what they were spending a month, and I'm getting the same results. So to me, that's a win, huge win. So the
Crazy.
overheads are down, but the turnover's up.
Yeah. Absolutely. And another a party that you don't have to like manage, as we were speaking about kind of offline there for a minute, is like agencies need to be treated like employees in terms of the management, right? They need to be managed. You need to be proactive with them because chances are they're not going to do the opposite, right? They're not going to be
Yeah.
chasing you for things. They
Yes.
are so busy themselves with so many clients that they don't have time. So
No.
so yeah, that's a difficult dynamic to manage if you're not used to it. And as you said, you only came online like a few months before that, or instantaneously, really.
Yeah.
And so it's not uncommon for people just don't know like how things work, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
so you were obviously like you're super proactive, and you can even just tell with when we've met in person like how proactive you are. And so even though you've had a busy schedule to be like, yeah, I think I can take this on myself, or more so the point of I have to take this on myself if something has to
Yeah.
change is
Yeah.
so
That I think that was
important.
it.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at the spend, and you watch how much money your revenue coming in, and it wasn't matching up. Like
Mm.
you're doing X amount with revenue, but then your ad spend was almost the same amount. So it just money was coming in and going straight back out, and I didn't like that. Yeah, I like to see the bank account grow, not
Yeah,
decrease. As
ideally.
everyone does. So
That's
um,
right. That's right. And at the end of the month or the start of next month, they're like, "Yep, here's the invoice for a couple of grand."
yeah,
And like, what do you mean? Yeah,
yeah.
I totally get that, man. And so with that, I guess new approach of saying, "All right, I'm going to take things on myself," jumping into EB. Were there initial reservations there from you? Like, it's natural to have such but was it any like hesitation, or was it quite like obvious in a sense
Pers-
for you?
Personally, not like I just like learning and doing things, and I find when you actually do that, you'll see the results, right?
Mm,
So I was pretty confident, like with what talking with you before joining ecom, and then after we had the induction chat and all that, and then I started learning straight away. Like I got access to the school, logged in. I think I finished the first module in like the first day that I was in with you, and
mm,
then the next week, every night when I got home, I was just I don't take my laptop home, but I was just on my phone doing it,
yeah.
and I had my notebook writing everything down I need to learn, and then the next day when I'm in my office, when I had a minute, start implementing some things, and I started seeing changes straight away, like the way the website was laid out. I started doing the emailing because I never did emailing before.
Mm,
I didn't even really know where to start with it. And then you guys offered up Klaviyo and all that. So we joined that, got that
yeah.
all set up, integrated with the website, started getting, sign up forms going, little offers here and there to entice people to spend. And we
Mm.
really started seeing changes instantly.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, I love those little quick wins, and especially when you're looking at there's a concept of like 0 to 1. There's actually a book called 0 to 1, but more so of like I'm not doing this thing, do that thing, and you see such dramatic changes. And that's
Yeah,
a really common thing that when people do jump into Ecom Blueprint is that they do that 0 to 1 effort and something happens really quickly and they get that really
yeah,
quick flow. And then obviously beyond that is managing, optimizing, and obviously scaling those things as well,
yes,
whether it is actually emails or ads or making improvements such as the CRO, as you mentioned. But what I'll just really highlight there for people watching at home really is firstly your urgency, right? With your responsibility, firstly, of saying, I need to learn this myself. Secondly, your urgency with that.
yeah,
Getting access, jumping in straight away, being like, cool, let's go through it. Not necessarily worrying or hesitating with there's so much to do. It's more just like just do it, tick it off, tick it
yeah,
off, tick it off, tick it off, tick it off, and then learning and then the execution, right? Because a lot of people, this is where YouTube University, really does people a disservice. There's information out there, right? Not specific to you, but information out there. And people watch it and they feel good. They get a dopamine hit, but then they never execute what may or
yes,
may not work for them, but they never give it the chance to figure out, right? Whereas you've
yeah,
taken the really important both combinations of basically absorbing the information or taking the learnings and then executing. Like, cool, it
yeah,
works. It seems really
yeah.
obvious to you because probably that's how you've always been or been taught to do things. But that's something that people do need to be really aware of. Absorb the information, execute. Absorb the information, execute. Get the feedback, or that feedback loop, and we iterate obviously from there.
Yeah.
But it's been awesome to observe that from you. And so you mentioned obviously taking charge of your ads. Google's been a good lever for you. Emails. They're kind of the two major things of the marketing triangle that we do talk about. Obviously, organic's probably a little bit different for you, just given your product and whatnot. But is there anything else in there that's been really pivotal for you, or really just those two main things in terms of
So
sales?
I did run Facebook ads for a while. Like I do run the bottom of the funnel, the
Yeah,
retargeting. Like that's
yeah,
always going. I'll never stop that. It's obviously you don't need to spend a lot on it, so it's always
yeah.
going. I did run some top of the funnel for a while, and I did have results from it. Not as much as what I'd hoped,
Mm,
but again, like for the product I sell, when people need it, they tend to go straight to Google
mm,
and they type in the part number of what they want, and they need to see you, front and center. So I really focused on that,
mm.
and from that was when we had our biggest month ever, which was quite good for us because the business had been in a lull for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that was really all I focused on was Google ads, email targeting, sending out campaigns, newsletters about how to maintain and look after your motorcycle and solar batteries, what to check for, how to know when a battery's starting to fail you, and from
Mm.
that I ended up getting because my mobile number was on everything. I started getting lots of phone calls, and then people wanted to come into the store and buy things, or they wanted me to go out and have a look at their solar setup and make sure everything was right. And so that was mainly the main driver of it was Google and email marketing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's really interesting to observe, like to understand consumer behavior. And
Yeah,
you'd know now just from probably me talking about it so much around that. Obviously the multiple touch points, as you mentioned, with retargeting or whatever it actually might be, but just having, let's call it an appreciation or a consideration rather for those multiple touch points. As you say, they may not tell you that they came from the newsletter. They may not tell you that they came from Google or whatever, but knowing
mm,
that that all does combine to the one effort is
yeah,
so important, or how they at least intertwine. is so super
Yes.
important, you know, and
Yeah.
so you get that through execution and then trial and error, obviously, and tracking, you know, measuring results and things,
Yeah.
understanding the 10,000-foot view of the business is what we often talk about in terms of ad spend and revenues. And did this, you know, work? We obviously help you kind of interpret that data, but really, really important considerations what you just mentioned. And so with the program itself, like what have you found really beneficial? You obviously came to our mastermind, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
what
was
have
good.
you found the most beneficial thing about the program and being involved?
So with the program, like with the learnings, like you know, you have the set learnings that you sit through and you go through, and then there was the I know I didn't get to attend a lot of the group chat video calls and all that just because of my day to day is pretty hectic. But I generally would at night I would put the young fella to sleep, and I'd be sitting there on my partner would have something on the TV, reality TV, which I don't like. So I'd be sitting there on my phone, my AirPods in, and I'd rewatch it, you know.
Mm,
And somebody at some point in the community is going through what I'm going through, you know,
mm,
and that they're basically asking the question that I'm thinking. So it, having that ability to rewatch everything that really helped me, and I really liked.
mm,
I would have liked to attended more of them, but just day to day for me is hectic.
mm,
So,
mm.
but yeah, that was one of the biggest things I like. And like you said, the mastermind event that was awesome.
Yeah.
The knowledge over that day was exceptional. So, and just meeting everybody, and everyone was there for the same reason. So it was good.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. You made the effort to fly over. It was great. And
Yeah,
worth it, as you mentioned. I think, and you mentioned offline too, which is the length of the videos too. Like there's obviously got a training and program and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been in programs where there's like 3 and 4 hour long videos, and it's like, dude, how do
yeah,
you get anything out of that? Of course, it's probably valuable, but you know, to be able to digest it all and then execute it at two almost different things. Whereas, yeah, it's consciously, I've basically made really short training videos, training modules to be like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nothing unnecessarily long, just for the sake of
yeah,
hearing my own voice. You know, that's the last thing I want people to do is waste
yeah.
time watching, more time executing, obviously, is what we want. So yeah, I mean, dude, thank you obviously for sharing that. And look, being on this other side, you know, it's obviously still a really busy time for you, but you know, experiencing what you have, being at that point, you know, if you can recall right at the beginning before we even met and you know, issues with the agency and stuff, like what would you sort of say to people on that end where you were? You know, what would you sort of say coming out the other end, being empowered, feeling good about ads and running things yourselves? Like what would you say to people that are kind of lost or stagnated or just feeling a bit overwhelmed and out of control at that point, you know, and how to obviously move forward and progress towards their
I think
goals?
I think the biggest thing for me was when I found ecom, you know, and it really related with me. I didn't hesitate. I made the call, and I jumped straight in. And it is that, you know, what they say is jumping straight in the deep end. You're never
Mm,
going to learn quicker than putting yourself in that situation where you have to learn, which is where I was. I had to learn because something had to change. Otherwise, we were
mm,
going to go backwards and probably bust. So
mm.
from that, you know, we're looking good for the rest of this financial year, and next year we've got some big plans. We've got a lot of stock coming in, new products coming in. So through this, obviously, I have listened to my customers personally, and I've got new products coming in, which will be launching in around, hopefully February next year. And I don't think I would have done that without going in and learning what I learned and putting it on myself to make something of it.
That's awesome, man. I mean,
Yeah,
that's very, very well said. And yeah, I can recall multiple times that, in fact, I think I did a Facebook post about it today, which was actually about he who hesitates is lost, meaning
yeah,
that every time you hesitate, every time, you know, we're always going to have some doubt about something. It doesn't matter what it is. Investing in a program is an example, but investing in yourself, you can really never go wrong. And so take that leap. You're better to do it today than tomorrow or the next day. And, you know, obviously, as we say, like the best time was yesterday, but now is the right moment. And you just you'll grasp it and you'll learn and you'll
yeah,
progress and you'll be amazed at how far you can get in a finite period of time. But as you say, to take the responsibility and have the urgency with taking control is the most important thing. So that was, yeah, very, very well said, man. So thank you so much for sharing that. And obviously well done on your progress. Like I'm pumped to see it. That's why I do what I do. And you know, you've been an awesome contributor and absorbing as much as you possibly can and an action taker. So that's been the best
yeah.
thing about it, man. So
But I've had a good time, man. So and, hopefully in the new year, once things get under control, I might be able to join back up and keep
totally.
going with it because I reckon it's beneficial to be a part of something like this. You know,
Absolutely.
somewhere that you can have some sort of like sense of control and whatnot, and put it on yourself. So yeah,
Absolutely, man. Thanks for sharing, buddy.
no worries. Thank you very much.